What's up, guys? Ruppy here, and welcome to week 2 of the UNPL. I apologize if I sound a little out of it. Full disclosure, I was up way too late working on the team for this game we are about to play here in a tiny bit. I probably should not have done that. I probably should not have stayed up till 4 in the morning working on this team, especially since the game is in a couple minutes, about 11 a.m. as far as where we're at right now, as of when I'm recording this. But yeah, this matchup kind of stressed me out a lot, but we'll get to that shortly. Last week, our Columbus Swoo started off the season in rather impressive fashion with a 5-0 win, but I'm not going to put a whole lot of stock in that just yet, because as you recall, last year we started off the season with a 4-0 win, and then only picked up 2 more wins after that point. Yeah, it was a rough season for me. But one of those wins we did accrue last season did come over the opponent we are going to be playing this week, that being the Appalachia Appletuns, coached by Dapper. You see my team's just kind of waking up, getting some exercise in, getting ready for the game ahead here in, I believe this is the Oni's Maw. Figured this is where I set up camp for this game last season. Might as well bring this team to the same location, see if that kind of helps inspire them a bit. In any case, let's go ahead and flip on over to the Teambuilder, our proverbial chalkboard on Pokemon Showdown. And I'll show you what I'm working with, because, yeah, Dapper's team terrifies the hell out of me. Let's run down the list as his roster appears off to the right. His team is as follows: Palafin, Archaludon, Zapdos, Glomora, Torterra, Kingdra, Pelipper, Hitmonchan, Servine, Beartick, and Sableye. His Tera captains are Kingdra, which can terastallize into a Water, Fairy, or Steel type. His Servine, which can terastallize into a Grass, Fire, or the Stellar type. Yep, I've got potential contrary Stellar I'm staring down here. Or Beartick, which can terastallize into an Ice, Fairy, or Fighting type. So, yeah, I think the thing that stands out right away is that Dapper has a Rain team, which we're looking at a Weather War here. This seems more likely to end up that way than my matchup last week, because, I mean, Dapper's got Pelipper to set the rain as soon as it comes out with Drizzle. Kingdra and Beartick are both Swift Swim Sweepers. Palafin certainly appreciates having rain. It can do a lot more damage that way. Archaludon loves the rain because that makes its signature Electro Shot move not need the extra turn to charge up, which is absolutely terrifying. That thing can snowball very quickly. Zapdos and Glomora are very familiar walls to me that have caused me no end of headaches. Torterra, I believe it got Tera banned this season, which, honestly, kind of nice considering the threat it posed as a Tera captain with Shell Smash. But the potential for a Shell Smash sweep is still there, and I do need to be wary of that. Hitmonchan is a bulky spinner. Sableye and its prankster shenanigans, I really have nothing that can stop it from doing whatever, so I have to be wary of that. There is a lot to be afraid of with this team, especially since, I'm going to tell you up front, I'm going into this game half expecting to lose. And that is because, in the rain, Kingdra pretty much runs through everything. Archaludon is definitely going to be hard to take down in the rain as well. There is a lot about this team that gave me such a headache. That is why I was up so late trying to build for it. I'm not the most confident in the team I am bringing, but at this point, with time running out until we actually do have to do the battle, because I would rather not delay it anymore at this point, I feel this is the best I'm probably going to get, so we're gonna run with it and see if it works. And that is going to begin with our MVP from last week, Wrath the Gyarados. I am not expecting Gyarados to do much sweeping this week, however. You're going to notice a trend with my team. A lot of it is built around trying my absolute best to take hits from his rain sweepers and be able to somehow either slow them down or chip away at them until I can find myself in a position where I can take them out. Because if I can get rid of... I don't know how many he would bring to this game, but Kingdra especially, if I can get rid of that thing, my life is going to be so much easier. This game might be manageable if I can get rid of Kingdra. And I think Gyarados might actually have the best chance to do that. I'm running a bit of an interesting spread this week. I've got quite a bit of physical bulk in here. It's 260 on both ends with 232 HP EVs. The 8 speed EVs are really there just to round it out to an even 200, just so, I guess, potential counter speed creeping, I guess, from some of his slower mons. I've got leftovers. I got Intimidate to try to weaken the likes of Palafin, Torterra, Beartick from before they can really get going. Iron Head and Earthquake are my offensive moves, and I'm running Tera Steel this week to get a little more pop out of Iron Head. Steel is honestly my Tera choice, more so not just because of the extra pop I can get out of Iron Head, but because it felt like the best middle ground I could go with of my chosen Tera types. Because while Tera Ground would help me deal with Zapdos better and make me immune to Archaludon's Electro Shot, that's just asking for one of his Rain Sweepers to just wash Gyarados away, and I would rather not have that. On the flip side, with Tera Flying, while it wouldn't make me quad weak to the electric types, just regular weak, that's still a hit I would rather not be taking. Steel feels like the optimal middle ground here, especially against the likes of Archaludon's dragon moves it could throw, and especially Kingdra, because if I can play my cards right in some potential will I or won't I Tera mind games, I could maybe catch Kingdra in a position where I can resist a water hit, I can then Tera and resist a dragon hit from it. I also have Thunder Wave on here. I'm going to make a note. While the option for potential para-flinching is here, that is not my main goal. I mostly have Iron Head on here just so I have the Steel Stab to run with. Not to mention, it does threaten Beartick if it doesn't Tera. So there is that. And honestly, I mean, water moves are not really going to be doing much anyway, and I don't have access to Flying Stab if I'm not going Tera Flying, because why Game Freak removed flying moves that are, aside from Hurricane from Gyarados, I will never know this gen. Seriously, Game Freak, why? Bounce was perfectly fine. But I mostly have Thunder Wave to be able to try to slow down his Rain Sweepers before they can really get going, because again, depending on how I play my Teras, and with this bulk investment, I should be able to take at least one hit from them, and if I can pop them with a Thunder Wave, that will make my life significantly easier in dealing with them in the rain. As an extra bit of bonus tech, I also have Sunny Day on here, because Gyarados, for whatever reason, gets Sunny Day. And I will gladly take that as an emergency option to be able to take away his rain before anything really gets going with it. Especially if I lose Torkoal, which I will get to in a moment. So I've got Wrath. I'm also bringing Powerline the Electros again this week. Pretty much same general idea as last week. I've got the AV, I've got the bulk, definitely heavily special leaning to try to be able to take on special Kingdra better. I am aware that DD Kingdra is a possibility, but Specs Kingdra in the rain just looks so good into my team that I'm trying to prepare for that very likely possibility above all else, but I'm trying to give myself some options here. Electros is definitely more mixed this week. I've got Discharge, again, because of the higher para chance, going hand in hand with Gyarados' Thunder Wave to try to slow down his Rain Sweepers before they get going. I've got U-Turn just because he does have Torterra, so I would rather not Volt Switch into it. U-Turn at least allows me to get some nice chip damage off on it while being able to still switch freely. Giga Drain for the likes of Palafin, and Kingdra if it goes Terra Water. I don't really expect it to, but it is an option. And Knock Off to get rid of items to, again, try to make my life significantly easier by taking away some of his offensive power he could potentially run here. Now we move on to Furnace the Torkoal, because, I mean, if I know rain is a very likely possibility, I might as well bring my Sun. Again, not really heavily going into trying to go full Sun versus his Rain. It's more a matter of, like with last week, having the sun there to try to rip that away from him. Though I am going to be leaning a little more into using it for something else we will get to very shortly. I'm running Lava Plume this week mostly because of the higher burn chance, again to try to somewhat nerf Palafin a bit, and a potential DD Kingdra if I can catch those with a burn. Torterra would also be nice, especially if it is a Shell Smash variant. Beartic. Otherwise, set is basically the same as last week. Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin to set up hazards and spin them away, especially because Glamora is an absolute pain. Earth Power is also there primarily for the Glamora, but it also hits Archaludon much harder than Lava Plume would as well. Got quite a bit of special bulk in there, but some defense investment as well to try to take hits and have Torkoal just linger around, set the sun to take his rain away, and try to be a nuisance. This week is going to see the full debut of my Fairy Dragon Steel Core I drafted in my first 3 picks that I am honestly very proud of. And that starts with the debut of my Iron Valiant Lumity. Yes, I named it after the ship name of Lucinosada and Amity Blight from the Owl House. Yes, this is the second team in a row in the UNPL with an Owl House reference on it. No, I will not be taking questions at this time about that. I love the show, what can I say? It's meant a lot to me. And I feel that Iron Valiant, being a futuristic combination of Gardevoir and Gallade, it makes for a perfect fusion mon, I guess, of Lucinamity, I suppose. Lumity is mainly going to be one of my main offensive win cons this week that I'm looking to try to get set up to run. With 128 speed and a Jolly nature, I am able to outrun a Jolly max speed Palafin. I know it seems weird to kind of benchmark for that, considering Palafin is normally adamant because of its absurd attack stat after it goes hero form. But I figured it wouldn't hurt just because I would rather be prepared for a Jolly Palafin that doesn't come and have the speed to deal with it, than benchmark for adamant and be caught off guard if he does run Jolly expecting that. This is pretty much a fairly typical mixed Valiant in terms of running Life Orb for its item. I contemplated Booster Energy, but I changed my tune on it because, unfortunately, even if I went max speed, Jolly, Naive. Yep, Naive nature. Booster Energy, even if I went max speed with a speed boosting nature, does not outrun either Kingdra or Beartic in the rain, at least in Beartic's case, assuming it is Jolly max speed. It is Jolly. If it's adamant, that's a maybe, depending on the speed investment he runs. Kingdra, absolutely not, though. So I felt there was no point in running Booster Energy for that. I would rather have the overall extra power from Life Orb. I've got max special attack, 16 attack EVs to give that little extra pop to close combat. I have that in Moonblast for stab, knock off to get rid of items. Thunderbolt for, again, his water types. Got a bit of bulk in there as well, at least on the physical side, to be able to tank his physical attackers a little better. I think if I can get into a proper position and hopefully get the rain out of the equation, Lumity's got a really good chance of doing some good things for me this game, and can threaten a ton of this team. That then leads to the second new debuting member of my Fairy Dragon Steel Core, Warforged the Scissor, named after the robotic race in D&D. Yep, second UMPL roster in a row with a D&D reference on it. Again, I will not be taking questions at this time on that. Here's a throwback for ya. Assault Vest Scissor. When's the last time you got to see something like that? I am running quite a bit of bulk on this thing to try my best to take on the likes of Kingdra. Honestly, I feel like Tera Fairy Kingdra is most likely. Tera Steel is an option, but considering I have Raging Bolt, I'm pretty sure Tera Water is a foregone conclusion to not be showing up in this game if Kingdra is going to be his Terramon. So I feel comfortable in banking on Steel or Fairy, and in that case, Scissor is definitely the mon to go to for that matchup because of Technician Bullet Punch. 68 attack EVs plus Adamant Nature will definitely hurt a Tera Fairy Kingdra for sure. I've got U-Turn to be able to pivot out, Close Combat for the likes of Archaludon, and I guess to a somewhat lesser degree, Glamora. and knockoff once again to get rid of items. Honestly, a lot of this team is banking on taking hit and, in most of these Mons cases, using knockoff to get rid of items. Because, again, a lot of his Mons have a lot of nasty offensive potential, and the sooner I can get rid of any items that would buff that, the easier my life is going to be in this game for sure. And last but not least, we have Cumulonimbus the Raging Bolt, who I am really hoping is actually going to be able to do something in this game, because, yeah, I had high hopes for it last week, and it didn't even need to hit the field because of Gyarados, so it is what it is. But I think Raging Bolt actually has a really solid matchup here. Again, I'm running a bulky leftover set. I am actually running Calm Mind this time as well. The idea behind it is to try to Calm Mind maybe at least once before Kingdra can come in. So that way, if need be, even staring down a spec set, I should be able at +1 with my bulk investment. I should be able to take a Draco Meteor from it, and then fire back with a Dragon Pulse and kill it, assuming it is not Terra'd. I have Thunderclap for priority, which will definitely hurt his Watermons. Thunderbolt to be able to hit them a little harder. The 176 speed with a modest nature is enough to outrun a modest max speed Pelipper, just to make sure I can stay ahead of that thing and threaten it with a Thunderbolt. I don't think I see something like Specs Pelipper in this game, but again, trying to make sure my bases are covered just to be on the safe side. So that is going to be the team as we flip back over to our locker room here in the Oni's Maw. Again, I am not super confident in this team, despite trying my best and staying up way too late to come up with a potential winning formula. But we will do our best to try to make it work and see if we can actually get a 2-0 start to our season, which would already put us in a better spot than we were in last season. So with that said, I'm going to try to wake up a little bit more, and then I will see you guys when it's battle time. Alright, it is battle time! This is going to be interesting because, not going to lie, I am really nervous about this matchup. It did not look good for me on paper. Huh. Okay! Definitely not the team I expected. He didn't bring Rain at all, unless he's planning on manually setting it. He didn't bring Archaludon. That is interesting. Part of me is kind of wondering now maybe if I should have maybe brought Mirror Orb on something for the potential Shell Smash Torterra, but... Huh. That is really interesting. Looking at this team... I think I'm going to lead Warforged. Yeah, that feels like that feels like something I can make work. Yeah, okay. Whew. Good luck, have fun, Dapper. And let's see how this plays out. I am legit surprised he did not bring Rain and initiate the Weather War. So he's going to lead with the Palafin, which is of absolutely no surprise to me at all. Want to get it in and out as quick as possible before, So if he's gonna either flip turn out or just flat switch, what does he go into becomes the question. I would not be surprised if it was Glamora, honestly. All things considered. Honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn out. Yep, he's going to flip turn. Which takes a chunk out of me. That kind of confirms to me he's banded Palafin. Because for not being in its hero form, that flip turn did... Well, it did roughly 30-ish%. As he goes into Sableye, which is fine. It is not going to appreciate this U-turn in the slightest. Alright. So, Sableye is in. This annoying little gremlin. How do I deal with you becomes the question. Because there is a multitude of things you could do, honestly. Truth be told, I'm tempted to go Cumulonimbus. Yeah, I think I'll do that. We will... Let's gauge exactly what this Sableye is up to. Because if he wants to burn me, that is honestly fine. If he wants to... Well, he can't paralyze me with Thunder Wave if that was the play. I could see a switch into Torterra predicting the electric move. I'm just gonna go for the Dragon Pulse in case he does make that switch. Because I think a T-Bolt... Light Screen! Okay. So it's a Screen Sableye. Good to know. I'm just gonna go ahead and Dragon Pulse again, because why not at this point? I don't want to set up just because I didn't want it to be locked into Encore. As he goes into the Torterra, that does not surprise me in the slightest. Because I'm pretty sure you're about to Shell Smash and try to sweep me now. Or at least I would assume that is the play. You took nothing from that Dragon Pulse. I think I'm gonna go into Wrath and get my Intimidate off. See where this goes. If he's holding Whiter, maybe I can waste that and get this thing's defense lowered so I can go from there. Predicts that and goes straight for the Stone Edge. Okay. Good thing I am bulky Gyarados. Interesting. Kudos on calling that switch. Okay. So, I can confirm he is not White Herb. In the event he is actually Shell Smash. There's really not a whole lot I can actually do to this thing. I really just sent it in for the Intimidate. Which then raises the question of what is my next play. I'm gonna stand and go for the Iron Head and see what he wants to do. Get some chip off on this thing and go from there. Because there's no leftovers. I saw no White Herb proc from the Intimidate drop. He's just gonna go ahead and switch. So that is completely fair. That is completely fair. I will take that. Back into Sableye, which maybe dies to this Iron Head? No, it does not. I would not be surprised if he goes for Reflect here. I'm just gonna click Iron Head again and kill this thing. Yep. Might as well get the screens while you can. Which is fair. This thing still lived. Okay. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and go for the Earthquake now, see what you want to do. Because I don't know what else... So far I've only seen screens from this thing. I would not put it past him to, yep, switch this thing out to preserve it. What do you go into, though? No feat is the Servine. Alright. Alright, I think I see where this is going. I think I see where this is going. And to that end, I'm going to go ahead and Thunder Wave you. Make you a little less of a threat. Goes, yep, straight for the Leaf Storm. So, this game is beginning. Gonna go ahead and paralyze you. Make you a little less of an issue. I'm iffy on switching into Warforged. Just because... You know what? Let's just go ahead, Terra Steel, and go for the Iron Head. He is... I apologize in advance for the potential flinch hacks that is about to happen. Paraflinch. But... Gyarados was here to slow things down and... well, be this kind of nuisance. It was the best I could think of against Rain. So, get a bigger hit off. He just goes for the Leaf Storm again, which... fair. He has not Terra'd yet. Makes me curious if he is going to Terra this thing, or if... Kingdra is the Terra play. I'm just going to Iron Head again. And no Rain has definitely thrown me a bit. Just keep chipping away at this thing. And he is now up to +6. Tiny bit surprised I haven't gotten any sort of, Okay, I guess now the question becomes, do I actually let Gyarados go here? Because that Intimidate could be useful for something else. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go for it. If I actually get a paralysis or a flinch, fair enough. But at this point, I don't think it's worth it to try to preserve. Well, finally got that. I don't think it's worth it at this point to preserve Gyarados in the face of this. Because at this point, my best bet is burning Screen's turns, so I can try to pick this thing off. Synthesis. Yeah, you're gonna be a problem. Okay. So how do I keep myself from being swept by this thing? And I think the answer is I don't. I think I was so focused on prepping for the Rain, but can you really blame me in the face of, well, what he's got? Because Rain completely wrecked my team. Well, there goes the Reflect at least, so I have that going for me now. Yeah, I guess we're just gonna go for it again. Unless I'm getting more damage this time. He does just go for the Leaf Storm, which is gonna take out Wrath. Fair. Fair. I hated having to throw away Gyarados like that, but It's the big catch-22 I'm in right now of how the hell do I deal with this thing. Thankfully, with it paralyzed, my options have improved. Actually, does Scissor outspeed you when you're paralyzed? It should. I think I'm just going to go into Cumulonimbus and pop this thing with the Dragon Pulse, get rid of it. Yeah, from this range, it should drop to a Dragon Pulse with the spread I'm running. So we can at least get this thing out of here. Losing Gyarados sucks in the long run, but... Yep, we're just going to Dragon Pulse, get rid of the Servine. And that's one problem off the table. You would think that him not bringing rain at all would actually make this less stressful. But seeing what he did bring, now everything is starting to come together in my head as to how he wants to play this, which is an obvious problem. Especially without Gyarados now. I'm going to stay in and Dragon Pulse this thing for damage. It's not hiding behind screens, which is nice at least. See if he see if he just goes for the ground move or overpredicts on... Wow! That was the crunch. Okay. Okay. Noted. So this thing is not Shell Smashing him. Part of me is wondering if it's even going to bother with it or not. So far I've seen Stone Edge, I have seen Crunch. Curious if the Crunch was because he legit thought I was going to bring Chimecho, which was something I considered. We're gonna send in Warforged. Because I definitely need more information on this thing. Or just to hopefully... It's definitely more especially bulky with the way it's been taking my Dragon Pulses. He's got Earthquake, yep. Okay, that is good to know. So, we have Crunch, Stone Edge, and Earthquake. Which is a fair spread, honestly. I'm going to try and U-turn out. We're going to see how this plays. Because if he's just a bulkier... Yep, I do outspeed. So I can get a huge hit off with this U-turn. And now I think I go Electros? I know Earthquake's not going to kill me. Yeah, I think Power Line's the play here. To dodge the Earthquake. And this thing should definitely outspeed me since I have no speed investment. I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn back out, though. It should kill this thing. If he wants to switch to try to preserve this, I can definitely get some switch momentum. If he sends in Sableye, I will gladly kill that thing. The more I think about it, the more the idea of DD Kingdra runs through my head, considering he has no rain. And he brought Screen Sableye. Okay, gonna take that Stone Edge. This U-turn should kill. Alright. So the Torterra problem is off the table. That potentially banded Palafin is still lurking in the back, and that concerns me. I'm gonna go in the Furnace. Because this way I can potentially get my rocks up. I've got my Sun active. And we can see how he wants to play this from here. He's going to send in Sableye. Which, you know what? I can't fault him for that. That's a smart call. I'm just going to click Lava Plume and kill this thing. Because I do not want it getting both sets of screens up. I want to make him decide which screen he feels is more valuable at this point. Which I would imagine Light Screen, just because Photosynthesis Raging Bolt is a potential problem for him at the moment. He's going to go for Reflect, which, you know what? I will actually gladly take that. Alright, so the Sableye Menace is finally off the table. So that leaves the potentially banded Palafin, Glomora, and Kingdra. Speaking of the Glomora, here it is. So he's got the Reflect up. I'm tempted to Stealth Rock, but I'm also tempted to really hurt this thing with an Earth Power, since he didn't get the Light Screen up. And I think the Earth Power's gonna Rock Polish! You are a more offensive set. Okay. Color me intrigued. I'm gonna go for another Earth Power. Meteor Beam! Okay. Your power or Meteor Beam. Which, that kills me, doesn't it? Yes, yes it should. And yes it is. Okay. So that's a thing that just happened. So no rocks for me. That said, though, there's really nothing stopping me from going into Cumulonimbus and just clicking, since I do have my Sun, just clicking Thunderclap. How many turns do I have left of that since I didn't bring Heat Rock? This will be my last turn. So I'm just going to click Thunderclap and pick this thing off. I really have no reason not to. If nothing else, it scares this thing out. He definitely cannot pull Meteor Beam again without his Power Herb. So he either stays in and... I mean, he could keep Rock Polishing up, but eventually he's going to have to try to hit me with something. Which seems like the mind game we're going for here. Okay, so my Sun is gone. So there goes my Photosynthesis. Really does not change anything, though. I'm just going to click Thunderclap again, because I have really no reason not to. Pretty sure with this spread at +1, I can take even if he's modest, I think after another lefties, I can... Yep, I'm going to be able to get this Thunderclap off, and there goes the Glomora. So, that crisis is averted. That just leaves the two biggest issues I was concerned with, and here comes one of them in the form of Kingdra. Which... I mean, I definitely hurt this thing with a thunderclap. I think the issue is, do I want to potentially burn do I want to potentially lose Cumulonimbus here? Because the other thing I'm thinking of is Palafin, because if I'm right on that thing being banded, I could take an Ice Punch from it. At this point, you know what? Call me crazy, but I'm gonna risk it. And I probably should not have, in retrospect. I completely forgot about the Tera. Tera Fairy? Yup. That may have been a crucial misplay on my part. Focus. Your crit draw! Okay, yeah, that's a problem. Ooh, I have not played a crit draw in forever. That is a problem. So how do I respond to this becomes the question. I'm gonna go into Power Line. As he just goes for the Draco, which I will take. That crit hurts, but it is absolutely fine. I'm gonna go for Discharge. I'm willing to let Power Line go here. Yeah, I'm willing to make that trade. As much as it hurts. Well, there goes the Reflect, so that is actually good to know. I'd almost forgotten about that. Which actually kind of makes a big difference. Because I'm definitely sending Warforged in now. See, even if he crits with something at 109, a crit Draco would not kill. A crit Hydro Pump would. A crit Surf would as well. But there's really nothing stopping me from going for a Bullet Punch and taking a huge chunk of damage out of this thing. As he does go for the Hydro Pump, hit it, and that's a crit. Because of course it is. Haha. Okay. So, Tera Fairy. I'm gonna send in Lumity. The debut of the fusion form of Best Couple. Because I definitely outspeed this thing without rain as a factor. And a Moonblast should kill this thing, even as Tera Fairy. Even if he wants to switch in, yep, he's going to let Kingdra drop, which is absolutely fair. So, I think I might have this. It's ultimately going to boil down to if this Palafin is banded. And if it is, what it locks itself into. I think if he wants to lock himself in a Jet Punch, I can definitely take that. Anything else, I definitely outspeed this thing. Because I specifically calc to outrun a Jolly Palafin if that's what he wanted to go for. I'm just gonna straight up Thunderbolt this thing. Take a huge chunk of damage out of it. I think it would take itself out with Wave Crash recoil if that's what he wants to lock himself into. But with my spread, I think I can take a Banded Jet Punch. And I know Raging Bolt would be able to take it at that point. Raging Bolt, barring a crit, should be able to take an Ice Punch, a Banded Ice Punch too, even if it's because it's at max HP. So I think I've got this. Okay, he's not Jet Punching, which I completely understand, honestly. He is going to go for Wave Crash, and I think he takes himself out to the recoil. Is that the case? Yup. And I still have Raging Bolt left, so somehow I'm going to get out of this with a 1-0 win. Okay. Oh. GG, Dapper. First off, I want to sincerely apologize for the Iron Head Thunder Wave shenanigans with Gyarados. Flinch Hacks was not the intended plan. It was an option that was there, but it was mostly so I had Steel Stab with Gyarados if I tera'd it, and Thunder Wave was meant to slow things down because of the rain that didn't come. I'm actually legit surprised you didn't bring rain. I was so terrified of rain because of your team. I thought for sure you were going to just set up your rain and run through me. That was the whole point behind a lot of these builds, just trying to mitigate that damage. Oh, but somehow it worked out for me. I will never understand that. GG again, Dapper. That was a fun game, all things considered. Very stressful, but fun. So, with that said, with our probably undeserved victory in hand, if you want me to be completely honest here. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I have been Ruppy. And my Columbus Swoo and I will see you guys next time. Hopefully without any more stress over weather wars. I want to be done with those. I want to be done with those. Take care, guys.